Okay, so Assalamu alaikum everyone. Thank you so much for joining us in our event, No Code Automation Feed Opportunities Hunt. So this is Alicia Naqvi. I will be your host, moderator, and I'm Alpha Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador, and I am the lead of Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador Air University chapter. And Sara Jawad, she will be moderating with me, and she is also the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. She is the founder and the community lead of AUVIC. So huge shout out to our community partners, SPIE Air University chapter, a wonderful community in our university that work on the empowerment of the student in the field of optics and photonics. And now I would hand over the platform to Sara. She will tell us about AUVIC and our first speaker. So over to you, Sara.
Thank you, Alicia. Hello, everyone. I'm Sara. And a little bit about Air University Women in Computing. It is the first women in tech community in our university. And we empower, inspire, and grow together. And, promote women in tech in different computing fields. And for our event, we have two speakers. The first one is Saba Kalsoom. And she will be the speaker for the Opportunity Hunt topic. And she's the Community and Partnership Lead at WorkNation Space, the Google DSC Lead for 2019 to 2020. And she's worked with a lot of startups, of incubators and accelerators for the past 4 years. And she has a certification of entrepreneurship from Draper University. And yeah.
Saba, now you can share your slides and enlighten us with your.
Okay. Assalamualaikum everyone. First of all, I would like to thank the hosts, organizers, and community partners who have put this event forward and also helped us to speak with you guys. The topic for today's talk is breaking the stigma of no opportunities. I basically want to have the audience know how you can change the perspective of having no opportunities at student level to make your career forward and step into the world of industry and professional world. So basically, who am I? I'm Saba Kalsoom. I call myself a digital evangelist. I am a Google DSC lead for the year 2019 to 2020. I work with startups from National Incubation Center Islamabad, starting with INE, which was I was part of its founding team. And then I worked with an accelerator that helps startups grow and move for a program at Silicon Valley. That helped me get a certification of entrepreneurship from Draper University based at USA. And currently I'm working full-time with as a community manager at WorkNation Space. Yeah, I love memes, ideas, and communities. So part-time I am working on that as well, and I also freelance for my content and social media marketing. Regarding my academic journey, I am an electrical engineer from NAST College of EME, graduated in 2020, and I guess that's the intro. Now I'd like to tell you a bit about what life was when I started my engineering, basically. So before that, I was a nerd who thought world was like this, and it had no obstacles, no barriers, and I would there would be nothing for me to grow, and life is all set because I was at NUST and things are good. But then when I saw that people are doing a lot in life, and it's not what a second year student feels like, that university would be easy to get along and people would be like us, and so imposter syndrome was there to hit back. And तब जाके realize हुआ कि दुनिया में लोग बहुत कुछ कर रहे हैं, and maybe I don't know things, maybe I don't know what life has. So at that moment, okay, so I added this video here. I don't know if it will work.
ये सब क्या हो रहा है? मुझे तो अभी तक समझ में नहीं आ रहा यार, हुआ क्या है यार? मुझे नहीं पता कि यार ये सब क्या हो रहा है यार, मुझे नहीं समझ आ रहा।
So basically the purpose of this video is simple, that ऐसे ही लगा था कि कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा, because engineering was not a thing I wanted to do for the full time and in the life ahead. Then I started looking why some people are very worthy and people consider them someone and I was a nobody. So at that moment I started to research around people and see कि जो लोग हमारे surrounding में, if even they say bullshit, it sounds like words of wisdom. So what have they done? And ये भी देखा कि बहुत से लोग बहुत अच्छी बात करते थे. They मतलब whenever they talked around words of wisdom, they sounded like they were talking some bullshit. So then I started realizing that maybe I need to look around and see what people are doing, and once I am around them, I would be able to see what they are doing and how they uh, basically went from a nobody to somebody. And then I started working with different communities. Started with Google Developers Group Islamabad, GTG Cloud Islamabad, TEDx Islamabad. I also went for Shaukat Khana Memorial Cancer Hospital as a student ambassador. And then I worked around events at National Incubation Center and got into their community. Then Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors program came in, the Google Developer Student Club program came in, and I got along with this community. So basically, these communities helped me get into the startup ecosystem of Pakistan, and eventually I ended up working with incubators, accelerators, and co-working spaces. Okay. These are some of the pictures from my life for the past 4 years. I've been quite active in communities, events, and of course, different startup industry. Why I told you all about this and why I told you about my journey, because I want to let you know that what is the mindset that we really need when we are a student and we want to see how professionals work and what would our career look like. So these are two questions you should ask yourself. First one is, why do people hire, and why should they hire you? So basically, to work in any form, like you work for yourself, you work for some other employer, or you work freelance, people hire you. So you should ask yourself why they hire and why you. So the answer to this question is simple. You should be a problem solver, and the world doesn't need another problem identifier. So what they want is for you to solve their problem. And for you to solve their problem, you should be a problem solver at the very first point. And how you do this by using your skills, curiosity, and imagination. Then that helps you identify the problems, and then finally you provide them with a solution. But what if you can do all of this and they still say no to you? You don't stop there. You don't give up. Okay, मुझे क्यों नहीं मिल रहा? Although I'm working on myself, I'm working to grow myself. Then what you do is आप alternatives देखते हो कि आप क्या कर सकते हो stand out करने के लिए competition से. You make use of research, plans, sketches, interviews, prototypes, demos, and how-to videos. So the journey and the process that helps you do this is in these 3 steps. First of all, you identify the problems that people are having. You find their solutions. You may get rejected, but then you start again. And that's how you basically end up solving their problems, and they will hire you. But is it really enough? No, it's not. So how do you just choose your career? You choose your career because it's not just an income. It's about pursuing the essence of your life. So basically, बहुत से students ये करते हैं कि when they are in their undergraduate, they want to just end up having a job. And मुझे almost daily basis पे काफी students reach out करते हैं, and all they ask for is मुझे job चाहिए. Now मुझे कैसे पता लगेगा कि वो कौन है, उनकी क्या skills हैं, उनके क्या interests हैं, उनका क्या background है, और वो क्या काम करना चाहते हैं. So it's not just about earning an income, it's about pursuing the essence of your life. And this is the survey that says that 91% of employed adults say that they look for jobs at least a few times a year, and it's a regular activity. but like any activity, you will get better with practice. So what matters the most here is the perspective. By perspective, I mean that if you look at this picture, some of you might say that few bats are hanging around, while other of you might say that few bats are just dancing around. And if you look at this picture, some people will say it's a 6, while some people will say it's a 9. So it's the perspective that will help you that आपके पास opportunities हैं या नहीं हैं. How do you want to reach out to people? How do you want them to help you? It's up to you. It's about your perspective to look into things. So what you should do, I will tell you about the few next slides what you should really do. So first of all, you should not focus on कि दुनिया में scope किस चीज का है, या आपकी डिग्री अगर फॉर एग्जांपल आई एम एन इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियर, फॉर एग्जांपल इफ आई से कि मैं इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियर हूं तो मुझे इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियरिंग की जॉब चाहिए एंड आई स्टार्ट लुकिंग फॉर people and I end up DMing them that I want a job, I want a job. No, I need to stop there, sit back, relax, and focus on myself first, on what I want to do for work. And then sometimes you are doing a job and suddenly you realize that you're not really enjoying it. So it can be any case, but for both cases, you need to first get specific about the job you are looking for. So you need to know yourself first before knowing the industry and before knowing the scope. What you should do is you should take stock of what you have accomplished in your career. You should sit down, take a pen and a paper, not a digital one, a physical paper from a notebook and a pen, and write there of skills you have achieved in your life. These skills can be anything. जरूरी नहीं है कि आपके प्रोफेशनल स्किल्स हैं, जैसे आपने मार्केटिंग कर ली या आपने कोई कुछ कर लिया. ये स्किल्स आपकी ये भी हो सकती हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल यू आर एडवेंचरस, फॉर एग्जांपल यू लाइक मूवीज, फॉर एग्जांपल यू लाइक कंटेंट, फॉर एग्जांपल you like social media. So these skills can be anything you have ever done in life. So you need to sit back and write these so you know about yourself more than about the industry. And then you need to think about the skills you feel more confident about and that make you unique. And if you don't have much of work experience, you can go for communities like the one we are having here and other experiences where you can apply your skills and interest. The next thing you need to do is you need to research about jobs and employers. You need to see what kind of people are posting about jobs, what is their job description, where are they located. So first of all, when you basically explore yourself, you would know what you want to work at, where you want to work at, and how you want to work. So after that, you can basically look for the relevant ones and basically explore according to your interest and the salary trends that are on the positions. So now the job market is dependent on you. You are not dependent on the job market or the opportunities. You should basically you should basically go for the reverse process instead of like going straight into like mujhe job chahiye. Then you should create a target list of employers you would like to work with, visit their career pages to get a wealth of information. Because once you know what they want, you can create your profile, your vibes according to that. And you need to visit their social media regularly to see what they are up to and for their news articles. And then you need to do one other thing. You need to reach out to the people who are working at those companies. Now, don't reach out to the co-founder or the CEO or the higher level management at first, because they won't even see your text probably, because उनके पास इतना time नहीं होता, to be honest. So आपने क्या करना है कि अगर for example you want to work as a UX designer, so what you can do is you like some company, for example we take Saba, and you say कि हमने इस company में, for example I want to work at this company. So you need to look who are the UX designers who are working at Saba. What you would do is you will create your vibe, your profile, your portfolio according to the job description, and then reach out to that person and say, hey, I am this, and I'm interested in this. Here is my portfolio. I would like to just have a conversation with you. Now, don't expect कि आप पहले text में उसे कहो कि मुझे job चाहिए. You don't network with people for jobs. You network with people to make relationships, to basically have them in your network ताकि कल को this, if they need you, they should reach out to you instead of you asking for a job. Make yourself so prominent in the industry that people reach out to you instead of you reaching out to people. But in start, obviously, you need to create that network. You need to create that portfolio. So you need to reach out to relevant people in your network. Don't just reach out to random people. कि हाँ आप influencers हो तो I'm reaching out to you. And there's this other problem that we spend too much time looking for opportunities and less time developing ourselves. अब इसका ये मतलब भी नहीं है कि आप अपनी स्टडीज छोड़ दो, आप अपनी जो रेगुलर एक्टिविटीज हैं वो छोड़ के बस हर टाइम लोगों को रीच आउट ही करते रहा करो और अपने ऊपर कोई काम ना करो, अपनी स्किल्स पे कोई काम ना करो. नेटवर्किंग का मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप सिर्फ नेटवर्किंग करो और जो जो आपने बेसिकली काम करना है, जो आपने प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करनी है, वो आपको कोई पता ना उसका कि आपने वो प्रॉब्लम किस तरह सॉल्व करनी है. And how do you do that? You need to ask yourself some questions. Questions like, what are my goals for this year? Who is my inspiration? You really need to find your inspiration. Mentors जो होते हैं लाइफ में बहुत important होते हैं, because जो आप करना चाह रहे हो वो किसी ना किसी ने लाइफ में किया हुआ है. So you just need to follow their footsteps and see कि हम उस point पे कैसे पहुंच सकते हैं. You need to ask yourself another question, that how do people introduce me to others? And what do I think of myself? जरूरी नहीं है कि आप जो अपने बारे में सोचते हो लोग भी आपके बारे में वही सोचते हैं. So ask the people around you, people close to you, what they think of you. वो उनको क्या पता है कि आप अपने करियर में क्या करना चाहते हो, या आपके स्किल्स क्या, आपके इंटरेस्ट क्या. इसी तरह आप सेल्फ अवेयर होगे. आप सब सेल्फ अवेयर हो जाते हो ना, उसके बाद चीजें बहुत आसान हो जाती हैं इन करियर. After asking yourself questions, you need to analyze yourself. जब आपको अपने आप को एक्सप्लोर कर लिया तो आप डाइवर्स भी हो सकते हैं बहुत ज़्यादा, क्योंकि आपने ये भी करना है, ये भी करना है, ये भी करना है, इसमें इंसान गुम भी हो सकता है. सो यू नीड टू जस्ट सिट बैक एंड देन एनालाइज योरसेल्फ कि हाँ ये स्किल्स हैं जो जो जिन पे मैं काम कर रहा हूँ, एंड दीज स्किल्स आर रेलिवेंट टू माय नेटवर्क, माय जो बेसिकली हमारे सराउंडिंग में इंडस्ट्री है, इंडस्ट्री दैट आई एम इंटरेस्टेड इन, एंड इट कैन पे मी वेल. And then third thing you need to do is you need to break things down in the way I explained earlier. And once you are ready to solve someone's problem, then you need to network. And how do you network? You basically participate in student communities and competitions. You show your talent through hackathons, through other competitions. You connect with top employers, like the way I said that you can drop them a text that, hey, I'm this, and I'm interested to talk to you. And then you build your resume the fun way. Obviously, when you have many things to write in your resume, you can basically आप खुद डिसाइड कर सकते हो कि मैंने अपने रिज्यूमे में क्या लिखना है और क्या नहीं लिखना. अगर आपके पास चीज़ें ज़्यादा होंगी तो ऑब्वियसली आप रेलेवेंट चीज़ों को रेफरेंस दोगे. You need to challenge yourself and get help to realize your dream and test your ideas. अगर कम्युनिटीज़ क्यों इम्पोर्टेंट है? कम्युनिटीज़ इसलिए इम्पोर्टेंट है कि अगर आप आप देखते होगे कि आपके सराउंडिंग में बहुत से लोग सिमिलर आइडियाज़ रीच कर रहे होते हैं कि ये करो, ये करो, ये करो, बट उनमें से कोई एक इंसान होगा जो वो प्रैक्टिस कर रहा होगा. So that is much better than those 50 people. अब मैं कुछ कॉम्पिटिशन्स का बताना चाहूँगी जो थोड़े से रेलिवेंट हैं विद CS बैकग्राउंड पीपल एंड टेक्निकल बैकग्राउंड पीपल. आगे और भी हैं जो थोड़े जनरल हैं, बट दीज वंस आर मोर रेलिवेंट टू कंप्यूटर साइंस स्टूडेंट्स. There are some competitions by Google, such as Hashcode. It's a programming competition for students and professionals. You pick your team and program, and they pick an engineering problem for you to solve. So what this does is it helps you solve problems. So आप student life में ही problem solver बन रहे हो. So you can practice these at their website and prepare for the next round of 2022. Currently, इनकी registration closed. Code Jam is another program by Google, which is running a global coding competition where programmers of all level put their skills to test. So इसमें भी इसमें एक आपको chance भी मिलता है to win a $15,000 prize and a championship title, of course, which is big. And registrations are currently closed, but you can check their website. Yes, Kickstart. Kickstart hosts online rounds throughout the year. ये भी basically एक प्रोग्रामिंग स्किल्स बेस्ड कंपटीशन है. आप अकेले भी ज्वाइन कर सकते हो और इसके डिफरेंट कोई एक राउंड भी ज्वाइन कर सकते हो और ओवरऑल कंपटीशन भी ज्वाइन कर सकते हो. रजिस्ट्रेशन इसकी करंटली ओपन है, लेकिन जिनकी रजिस्ट्रेशन क्लोज हैं आप उनको भी ज़रूर प्रैक्टिस करें इफ़ यू वांट टू गो फॉरवर्ड, बिकॉज रजिस्ट्रेशन क्लोज होना इज़ एक्चुअली गुड, ताकि नेक्स्ट राउंड तक आप प्रिपेयर कर सको. गूगल के और बहुत से इवेंट्स होते हैं, जैसे गूगल समर ऑफ कोड है, आउटरीच इंटर्नशिप है. दिस इज मोर रेलिवेंट टू गर्ल्स बिकॉज दे प्रेफर पीपल इन माइनॉरिटी, एंड वुमेन इन टेक आर कंसिडर्ड अ माइनॉरिटी इन द वर्ल्ड. And there are the community events by GDG, DSC, and Google Business Group. There is also an annual solution challenge by DSC through which you can practice being a problem solver. And you can find these more at this website that I've mentioned here. Other events by credible organizations such as Microsoft is Imagine Cup. It's a competition where you get to solve global issues and bring your technical solutions to life. Registrations are currently open for 2022. You can find more information at this link. Microsoft Student Learn Ambassador Program, इसमें GitHub campus experts भी होते हैं, MLH fellowship भी है by GitHub. You can apply at the link here given here. बाकी community events Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors करवाते रहते हैं. Third one is Facebook. Facebook provides an open source immersion program, which is a month-long celebration of open source technology. And Facebook के और भी developer circles हैं, पाकिस्तान में भी हैं, जो आप join कर सकते हैं. Developer circles इस्लामाबाद भी है. It's free to join और आपके पास एक community होती है. You can join them and learn from people around you. You can find more information here. Now this is more generic. ये कोई भी join कर सकता है, even if you are not from a technical background. I would highly recommend this program. Y Combinator is a very credible accelerator and दुनिया के top startups Y Combinator से मतलब graduate हुए हैं. So I would really recommend this program if for a beginner to step into the digital ecosystem. So basically अगर आपका startup nahi bhi hai, it doesn't matter, you can join this program. They provide a startup school, which is an online free program for founders pursuing their startup. Why I'm recommending it, because it will give you basic know-how on what is a startup, how the startup ecosystem is, what startup founders are doing, what are entrepreneurs doing, and obviously you can become a part of the community, and you can have their you can have this network on your LinkedIn and Facebook, which will help you see what they are doing and learn from them. You can find more information on the link given below. So after all this, what you should focus on really, I think we should focus on your story. ठीक है, हर कुछ आपको पता है कि ये भी हमारे पास communities हैं, हमारे पास और लोग हैं जिनको हम reach out कर सकते हैं, हम उनके journey से सीख सकते हैं. But at the end, what matters is you. It's your story and inspiration. Never think कि कोई और मुझसे बहुत ऊपर है. Imposter syndrome हर किसी को होता है life में कि अगला इतनी सी एज में या इतने से कम टाइम में इतना कुछ अचीव कर गया and I'm still here in life. So that doesn't matter. You have your own timing, your own pace, and your own attention spans. So what matters is your story. आपको बस ये align करना है कि आपकी story किसी को inspire किस तरह कर रही है. आपने life में ऐसा जरूर कुछ ना कुछ किया होता है जिससे कोई next person inspire हो सके. So you should really focus on your own story and be an inspiration for someone in life. And then you need to connect with the reader. By connecting with the reader, I mean that when you are making content on social media, I would really recommend you guys to be a bit active over social media for good things. You can obviously choose to go for memes. That's not a bad thing to do. But you should also build your professional brand over LinkedIn, over Facebook, over Twitter, or Instagram, whatever you choose to be at. But you need to connect with the reader. By connecting with the reader, I mean कि आपकी जो audience है, जो आपके followers हैं, see what they want to interact with, what sort of content they want to have, so you can connect with them. And then third thing is impact that you create. आप जिंदगी में कुछ ना कुछ impact daily basis पे कोशिश करेंगे create करें in little ways, किसी की help करके, किसी को किसी और को एक ऐसी चीज बता के जो आपने की है लाइफ में, या फिर अगर आपका खुद नहीं की लेकिन किसी और ने किया और आपको पता है, you can create that impact by connecting with them, by letting them know. ये इसलिए ज़रूरी है कि professional life में it's more about who you know than it's about what you know. This is an irony, unfortunately, but it is what it is. And तो ये impact जो आप create कर रहे हो in someone's life, that's very important. एंड रेलेवेंट स्किल सेट होना बहुत ज़रूरी है. आप किसी भी जॉब के लिए जब अप्लाई कर रहे हो, आपकी जो रिज्यूमे है, आपकी जो CV है या पोर्टफोलियो है, वो बहुत रेलेवेंट होना चाहिए. मैंने यूजुअली स्टूडेंट्स को देखा है, दे कम अप विद देयर रिज्यूमेज और कहते हैं कि मतलब इसको रिव्यू कर दें और हेल्प मी गेट इट बेटर। उसमें जो सबसे मेजर चीज़ होती है वो ऑब्जेक्टिव स्टेटमेंट पहले तो ऐड की होती है, ऑल्दो बिग कंपनीज नाउ मतलब वो कहते हैं कि अपना ऑब्जेक्टिव स्टेटमेंट डालें बिकॉज दे नो कि आपको ऑब्जेक्टिव जॉब लेना है। लेकिन अगर आप ऑब्जेक्टिव स्टेटमेंट पाकिस्तान में कुछ कंपनीज को रिक्वायर्ड होता है, सो अगर आप ऑब्जेक्टिव स्टेटमेंट आपकी रिज्यूमे में है तो मेक श्योर इट्स वेरी रेलिवेंट, इट्स वेरी प्रिसाइज एंड स्पेसिफिक टू द जॉब यू आर अप्लाइंग फॉर, इंस्टेड ऑफ जस्ट सेइंग के आई एम अ वेरी ऑर्गेनाइज्ड पर्सन और आई एम अ वेरी मतलब उस तरह का आई एम एन इंजीनियर। नो नो, आपको बेसिकली जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन से रेलिवेंट जो उसमें वर्ड्स हैं वो यूज करने चाहिए ताकि वो लगे कि आप बेसिकली इस जॉब के लिए ही अप्लाई कर रहे हैं। I think that's all from my end. I would like everyone to ask questions now. I have added a quote here, which is everyone is born with a little voice inside them. It goes off whenever they are about to do or say something stupid. Most of the time, we don't listen to it. Start listening to that little voice. I added this because I've seen people not asking questions जब भी events होते हैं या कुछ होता है because they think maybe we would sound stupid, maybe we don't know things, but even if it's stupid, I would like for you to ask it. Please go ahead.
So if anyone has any question, you can write in the chat or you can raise your hand. Okay, so Sameer.
So Sameed has a question that during these times, how can we network with people as LinkedIn is going, as COVID is going on? Would you prefer LinkedIn for building connections? Are there any other online mediums to do so? So Sameed, a very good question. But the thing is, networking ke liye, you never need a physical platform. Obviously, it's good to have a physical platform, but networking ke liye, मैंने मतलब अपना नेटवर्क जितना बिल्ड किया इट्स बोथ ऑनलाइन एंड ऑफलाइन सो आई वुड रियली रिकमेंड टू हैव एन ऑप्टिमाइज्ड लिंक्डइन प्रोफाइल टू हैव एन एक्टिव फेसबुक इंस्टाग्राम ट्विटर एंड यूज इट फॉर द राइट पर्पस। ठीक है, आप जनरली यूज करते होगे बट यू वोंट बी दैट एक्टिव प्रोफेशनली। कम्युनिटीज हैं लाइक थॉट बिहाइंड थिंग्स, एक फेसबुक कम्युनिटी है बाय मुज़म्मिल हसन जैदी, यू कैन जॉइन दैट, आस्क रेलेवेंट क्वेश्चंस, बी एक्टिव on other posts. कुछ influencers को follow करो अपनी industry से relevant, people from Google, people from Facebook, जिस position में आप land in करना चाहते हो. For example, if you want to be a product manager, then you need to follow product managers from different companies. You need to be active, interact with them, comment करो उनकी post पे. एक अपनी प्रोफाइल उस तरह की जब वाइब आना शुरू हो जाए, प्रोफेशनल वाइब उसमें से, then you need to reach out to them and say to them, okay, hi, I'm this, and I want to have a conversation. You can just have a 15 to 20 minutes conversation with them, have an e-meeting with them. People these days are really open to it. Even if they say no, जो कि होता नहीं है, what do you have to lose? Nothing. So just reach out to them after creating your profiles in a very professional manner. Wanted to ask, most of the time people have a network and group of people around them with like connecting with them. Okay, yeah, this is a very relevant question because sometimes ये होता है कि आपके पास network तो है but आप उस network को अपने फायदे में या अपने career growth के लिए use नहीं कर पा रहे हो. You can't really connect to people. That's because first of all तो आप relevant लोगों से connect नहीं होगे, या फिर ये बहुत ज़रूरी है कि आप relevant लोगों से connect हो. Relevant लोगों का मतलब ये है कि जो उसी इंडस्ट्री का पार्ट हो, जिस इंडस्ट्री से आपकी वाइब आती है, जो आपकी पर्सनालिटी नजर आती है। कि फॉर एग्जांपल कंटेंट राइटर, अब कंटेंट राइटर्स की कम्युनिटी में होना चाहिए, उसकी सराउंडिंग में कंटेंट राइटर्स होने चाहिए, उसकी सराउंडिंग में सोशल मीडिया मैनेजर्स होने चाहिए, उसके सराउंडिंग में ई कॉमर्स बिजनेसेस होने चाहिए जिनको कंटेंट राइटर्स चाहिए होते हैं, उसके सराउंडिंग में सोशल मीडिया एजेंसीज होनी चाहिए जिनको कंटेंट राइटर्स रिक्वायर्ड होते हैं. सो जब तक वो नहीं होंगे तब तक यू कांट कनेक्ट विद देम. एंड टू कनेक्ट विद देम आपने डेली की फॉर एग्जांपल एक पोस्ट करनी है. अब वो डेली की एक पोस्ट कैसी होगी दैट्स अप टू यू, और वो हेल्प कर सकती है आपको उनसे नेटवर्क करने में, उनसे कनेक्ट करने में जो लोग आपसे रेलेवेंट है. वो पोस्ट आप इस तरह की बना सकते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल इफ यू आर अ कंटेंट राइटर तो आप कंटेंट ऑब्वियसली प्रोड्यूस करोगे, And content writer की भी types है, like आप for example website content produce करते हो, for example social media content produce करते हो. So you need to show that on your own profile first, that yes, you are doing this. I guess that answers your question, but even if it doesn't, reach out to people. Even if they don't answer, that's okay. It's totally okay if they don't answer. Maybe उनके पास time now, maybe more relevant now के लिए, maybe they are egoistic, ये भी होता है बाज़ sometimes. So even if they don't answer, it's okay. But जितना मैंने देखा है, if you have a relevant profile, if you have a relevant portfolio, relevant social media network, then people do respond if you reach out to them. Join events, talk to people. Mostly people respond and you can connect with them. I think that answers your question, but if it doesn't, feel free to drop another. Is it preferable to be a jack of all? I would suggest in student life, you really need to be a jack of all, because अगर आपने explore ही नहीं किया तो बाद में you can really बाद में आपको regret हो सकता है कि मैं जो कर रहा हूँ I don't like it. मैंने देखे हैं कुछ अपने friends जो software engineering में they ended up and they got a job because they had a good GPA, they had good skills. लेकिन जब उन्होंने job start की, they found it कि ये तो बहुत dry है, मुझे lifetime ये काम नहीं करना. तो उन्होंने कुछ explore ही नहीं किया था उस time, and then they started exploring other fields, marketing, another relevant जो उनको लग रही थी उस वक्त. So yeah, you need in student life you really need to be a jack of all. By jack of all ये नहीं कि आप हर चीज में घुस जाओ. By jack of all it means कि आप step by step एक के बाद एक try करो and see if it's really something that you can enjoy for the lifetime. So student life में yes, 4 years are good enough to be a jack of all and to explore everything. And then लेकिन फिर at the end you really need to decide 1 to 2 or at least 2 लाजमी. I would suggest कि 2 लाजमी होनी चाहिए आपके पास, ताकि you can have a passive income on the side as well. So एक full time job, passive income, and then your own startup on the side कि जो आप start कर सको, जो आप for the आगे उस पे काम करके एक solution बना सको. So these things you can only do if you explore everything. So yes, you need to be a jack of all in student life. Javeria is asking, I'm an electronics engineering student. I'm confused to choose a single field. How to narrow down fields? Okay, so अभी मैंने ये explain किया कि sometimes you don't know कि आपने कौन सी field single choose करनी चाहिए आपको. So you are saying that you have interest in different things like embedded system. So it's totally okay to have interest in different things. What you need to do is to explore all of these, work in embedded systems, work in automation, work in robotics and control. आप कोई जो आपका semester project होता है वो कोई ऐसा उठाओ जिसमें ये सब चीजें हों. ऐसे projects बिल्कुल होते हैं. And work on every bit of these fields and see what inspires you more, what interests you more. And personally, I would suggest to जब इसमें काम करने के बाद also look for the industry in these, because पाकिस्तान में आजकल what I am saying from my experience is कि बहुत कम हो गई हैं इंडस्ट्रीज. So you really need to अभी से आप देखो कि इन्हीं इंडस्ट्रीज में कौन सी कंपनीज काम कर रही हैं, कौन से लोग हैं जो इसी रेलिवेंट जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन पे काम कर रहे हैं, उनका काम क्या है. आपको अभी से इन चीज़ों का आइडिया होगा तो ही आप डिसाइड कर सकोगे कि हाँ मुझे लॉन्ग टर्म अपना टाइम इन्वेस्ट करना चाहिए इस फील्ड में या नहीं. And if not, then you need to explore other fields. So be very मतलब मैं ये कहूँगी कि be very visible in the industry you are interested in. Visibility always creates opportunities for you.
Yeah, Mubashir wanted to unmute. Mubashir, can you raise your hand? I'll unmute you.
No problem, Javeria.
Okay, you can ask now, Mubashir. Mubashir, you can unmute your mic.
He's saying it's unmuted from his end.
Okay, can you try now? Okay, wait.
Bashir, we have allowed you the permission to open the mic. You can just unmute yourself.
If someone else has a question, they can drop a text. There are many complexities that there are many job standards that are better abroad, but most people can't go abroad. The scope of the doesn't pay as much. So it's digital era, Manur. Nothing is limited here. आजकल बल्कि people are preferring to work from Pakistan, वो भी बाहर के लिए and earn dollars, which is pretty much better than working in Pakistani rupees. So nothing is limited here. It's just you and your perspective and what you end up doing. So I would really recommend looking for alternatives that can help you basically break those limitations and barriers and end up you having opportunities around. So जब आप अपना career industry आपकी field वो सब कुछ जब आपका decide हो जाता है जब आप first job करने लगते हो then you can always go for other skills and start freelancing और अगर network create करने का एक और बहुत फायदा ये है कि even अगर आप marketplaces पे freelancing नहीं कर रहे हो still you आपके network से ही लोगों को कुछ ना कुछ on the daily basis चाहिए होता है they post everywhere required this and even if they know कि आप इस चीज में बहुत अच्छे for example if I give my example almost on every other week someone from my network approaches me for their content for their website for their marketing strategy for their social media so because they know I'm good at it and I'm doing it so it's not about boasting myself it's just I'm giving you an example that if you are prominent in your industry in your field in your skills people will reach out to you themselves if they know that you do this for that you need to create that network you need to create that vibe you need to create that personality out of yourself and only then it can help you basically remove those limitations and barriers and obviously you also have other options like freelancing websites and marketplaces like Fiverr, Upwork, and Guru, etc. I think that answers your question. If it doesn't, Manur, feel free to drop another. So the thing is, we have a set where we want to be after 5 years. For example, we want to be an expert in a specific field, and for that, how you can penetrate in that expert circle talking in a context. Okay, perfect. This is a very good question because I've seen some students doing so. उनको जब आइडिया हो जाता है कि मैंने लाइफ में यही करना है then obviously it's so good to have an inspiration and to have someone who they think can be their coach तो उस सर्कल में he's asking how he can end up in that circle so if you are active on LinkedIn and you want to be a product manager for example so what you do is you need to start taking relevant courses related to product management and you need to create content regarding product management तो आप जब daily basis पे कोई ना कोई content produce करोगे उस पे and जो अच्छे product managers हैं जो अच्छी post पे हैं अच्छी companies पे हैं Google, Facebook and others even in Pakistan आप उनके कंटेंट पे इंटरेक्ट करो उधर कमेंट करो उधर इस तरह करो डू दिस फॉर सम टाइम डू दिस फॉर लाइक 3 months एंड देन ड्रॉप अ टेक्स्ट टू समवन कि अगर कोई इवेंट हो रहा है या कुछ भी हो रहा है ड्रॉप अ टेक्स्ट टू देम एंड से आई वांट टू वॉलंटियर फॉर इट आई वांट टू attend it or whatever in whatever way you can basically be part of that community and then what you do is you drop your resume to a product manager in their inbox and say hey I want to be an intern at your company for example start from the bottom say I want to be I am a student I want to be an intern for the part time please if you have any opportunity feel you can check my portfolio I'm quite active over LinkedIn I create content on a daily basis I'm very interested in this and when you do so with almost 10 to 20 product managers and you have already talked to them they already know that you exist and you're credible enough because you're producing that content and your personality matches with the job role I believe 100% product managers will get back to you with an opportunity so this is how you end up in their circle and with time after being an intern you can obviously grow and get promoted to the upper level, basically upper positions. So sit in the 5 expert and you will be the 6 expert. Yes, this is true. You start from the bottom, you talk to them, you basically start as a student, and with time you will not be a student anymore. You will be part of this expert circle. Exactly, and you got my point. You basically need to have a foundation and then go step by step.
Okay, we have Hafsa raise her hand. I'll just allow your mic. Hafsa, can you unmute? Okay, she has a question on chat.
Yes, she's asking that she wants to know about online working platforms during university life, except freelancing graphic design. Except freelancing. So I could not get the question exactly, but जितना मुझे समझ आया, I think she wants to ask कि अगर university life में आपने काम करना है, तो आप freelancing के अलावा क्या कर सकते हैं? So university life में अगर आपने काम करना है, तो I've already explained, you need to build that portfolio, you need to build that network first. जिस चीज़ पे आपने काम करना है. For example, you mentioned graphic designing. So if you want to be a graphic designer, be active on LinkedIn, produce graphics on daily basis, work on किसी की relevant website उठाओ and say कि मैं आपका web design है, I can produce it better. उसका alternative दो उसको, tell them their problems and say I have a solution for you. So this is how you end up working for them. Start में you need to work free. You need to work for your portfolio. आपके पास कुछ proof होना चाहिए that yes, you are working in this particular industry and you know how this is done. Start में be a student, be a free worker, just build that credibility in the network first. And once you do that, then I can assure you 100% that people will reach out to you on their own to have their problem solved by you as a problem solver. So this is how you end up doing work in university life. Yes, Sayyid Muhammad. Okay, it's Naki. Okay, so yes, he's saying that you can find remote jobs in US, Canada. Of course, you can. These days, remote jobs are much better than the jobs we are doing in Pakistan if you want to. So go for the remote jobs. There are many available. You can go to the job section on LinkedIn, open the job alerts. You will find the email in your in your inbox on daily basis. There are many remote jobs available.
Okay, thank you so
Okay,
much,
thank you
Saba.
so much, Saba.
Thank you so much, everyone. Saba, we learned a lot from you. And if you want to connect with Saba, she has shared her social media accounts. So you can take a screenshot and connect with her. Saba,
Yeah.
do you want to say anything else?
Okay, so final thoughts. If you want to connect, feel free to connect on any of the platforms. Open for questions of any sort. If you need help with the resume, if you need help with network, if you want to be connected to someone relevant, feel free to do so. Happy to help you around. Also, I'd like to thank the audience for being an active audience, host, moderators, and of course the community partners. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Saba. We're so glad to have you, and thank you for taking out time. Also, I have an announcement that we will share some feedback form in the end of the session. So do fill it to get your certificates. And now we will move forward to our next technical session by Usman Aslam. Just a minute.
All right, everyone. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, we can hear you. And before introducing Usman, I will introduce a bit more about the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador Air University chapter. It is a chapter that is integrated with MLSA Islamabad. That is a city-wide chapter powered by Microsoft, and our vision is to, build a strong community filled with learning for the students of Air University and everyone that came across our events. So thank you so much, Usman, for joining us. This is the session I was so waiting for. And Usman is the speaker for No Code Automation session, and he's the manager and the community lead of MLSA Islamabad. He's also .NET Foundation member. He's also Gold MLSA from EMEA region. So over to you, Usman.
All right. Thank you so much, Alicia, for that warm welcome. Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Let me just share my screen. If there are any internet issues from my end, please do let me know, as this session will be focused on automation, but will be dependent upon all the, all the internet users, because we're using an internet-based platform for this session. So let me just share my screen. All right. So can you see my slides?
Yes, we can.
Yes. All right. So, hello everyone. Thank you so much, MLSA Air, for the invitation. So, this session will be all about having those, pesky tasks or even those long haul tasks automated without any coding knowledge. You don't need any Python, any C++, or any C hash to automate these tasks. It can be anything depending upon what kind of processes are you're using. So, just a bit about myself. My name is Usman Aslam. I'm a Gold Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador for at Microsoft for the Europe, Middle East, and Africa region. I overall see Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador Islamabad as its manager and community lead, and I'm also an Amazon AWS Educate Ambassador. So just a little bit further, I'm a tech enthusiast, author and columnist. Normally what I do is, I learn about different technologies and then share that with other people, or, writing about different opinions regarding to tech. And I'm a community strategist who has operated in different organizations for the past 3 years in TEDx, IEEE, been part of the .NET Foundation, which is this huge this huge developer community, which consists of Microsoft employees, MVPs, and so on. And I've been part of Medium's largest publication, that is the startup now known as Started Up, and of course, a Gold MLSA. So just to clear the air, to make things a bit more friendlier and inclusive, I'm a person who loves to, talk about video games, and, I'm an avid gamer, and I, have this knack of, sharing stuff about technology, working on different technologies. It can be anything from, web dev to low code to cloud or anything like that. And I'm a tea and coffee addict. So if any of these topics come into your mind, and if you want to just talk with me on that, so feel free. So this session will be all about everything low code. Even if you're a BBA person, even if you're a psychology person, this is that session for you. It doesn't matter what your degree is. This session will be about Microsoft Power Platform and the kind of tools that Microsoft offers in the low code perspective, common data services, connectors, AI builder, and a tour towards Power Automate, and a proper introduction, few examples, and a proper demo, so that you guys can know how you guys can, just take all of those manual tasks and automate them with a single push of a button. So the need for automation is that, as every tech person, we have these tedious tasks. Like you're working on a business, and you need to have these certain products scaled up without you keeping a check on them. So for that, automation is required. We have Azure, we have the power of cloud, but it's still, we need to have that flow of performance. And at that time, we cannot have 100 people overseeing several servers. So that is why automation really comes into play. And if we talk about on a large scale perspective of automation, then your Intel and your Ryzen processors, they are mostly manufactured through automation. That's a large scale, by the way. This is not regarding that, because that is really high level. But in a nutshell, it's less work and more comfort for the people who are working in that organization or that business. So this is the overall layout of Power Platform. You have 4 tools, and within them there are certain key elements that make Power Platform a really helpful tool. You have Power BI, business analytics. If you have a business that is and you that has certain products, and you're trying to see how they are scaling up, what kind of profit they're making, and how they are doing well in the market, then Power BI comes really helpful. And then there's PowerApps. I believe PowerApps is sort of my favorite tool amongst all of these four, because in this you can build apps without coding. I know that there is MIT app developer where you just drag and drop, but PowerApps is a bit more towards the design perspective. If you don't know any coding and you want to build cool apps that you can use for your businesses, then PowerApps is the best platform. Power Automate is what we're going to focus on, but I just thought we have a little bit of introduction on all four of these. And then we have Power Virtual Agents, which are basically these intelligent virtual agents. Basically, the biggest example regarding this is you have Facebook bots, right? When you message a page, there's a bot that automatically replies to you, or a website. And this is where Power Virtual Agents come into play. Say you have a business, and you get a lot of queries regarding your product, and what kind of product it is, and how can we purchase it, and what kind of impact does it have, or what kind of value does it have. So this is where you can build your own bots, customize them, and see how they engage with the customers. Then you have data connectors. The biggest example of data connectors I can say is, in a real life example, is extension. You got these extensions where you connect different electronic items, and you're connecting them to another platform, right? So this is where data connectors is like the real life example, like taking one service. You have one service, and then you're connecting it with another service, like two different services, and connecting them to make a single flow. And then you have AI Builder. AI Builder is all about AI Builder is most probably like like if you want to have intelligence in your automation processes or in your applications, then this is where AI Builder comes into play. It can be like analyzing text from a certain CV. Like if you have a long line of CVs, and if you do not want to like check it out manually, you can use AI Builder to analyze a certain amount of text and then give you the required result. And then you have the common data services. Common data services are basically these platforms where you can store your data and keep a track of what's going on. The most simplest example is like an Excel sheet. You can keep the data and you can keep storing it and see what's going on. So the main focus of today's session is Power Automate, which is all about automating processes. So what is Power Automate? Power Automate is basically an online workflow which automates your day-to-day activities. It can be anything, like sending stuff automatically from your laptop to your drive. You do not even have to like open your browser and store it by yourself. It automatically happens if you have the correct flow. And you can also automate work approvals. If you are in a business or you're overseeing a business, then Power Automate can approve workflows and give a feedback to the people who are working in your company, and so on. So this is a general tour of the Microsoft Power Automate platform. I believe they have updated it since the last time, but this is like a general platform, general overview of how it looks like. I placed screenshots for it so that if there are any internet issues, then these screenshots might cover it. So this is the homepage where you get different templates. Like either you can make a flow on your own based on your mindset or your creativity, or you can just use a template that Microsoft has already provided. It totally depends on you. And then you have connectors. Like I said about connectors are these like again, imagine an extension, and you're connecting your laptop and your phone charging ports to it, right? Chargers to it, right? So similarly, with that, you have one service. Like let's suppose I want to connect Twitter with my Gmail, and I want people to know, and I want to know that if anyone is talking about my business right? If they're using the hashtag of my business, then I would be alerted through Gmail. So this is like taking one service. You have taken Twitter and you have taken Gmail and you have connected them into a single flow, and you get the result that you want. Then you have AI Builder. Again, I gave an example about AI Builder. It's all about giving intelligence to your processes, to your applications, anything you want. But for this, I think there's a certain fees for it, right? A pro version of this. So it totally depends upon your business, or if your business is providing that. And then there is the common data services, or the part where your data is being stored or where your notifications are being sent. So here are some of the examples that I have used over the past few years. I've connected my phone with it. I've connected Google Sheets, even my own Twitter. So there's no limit to what you can do with Power Automate. So it totally depends upon what kind of flow you have, what kind of service do you want to give it to, and what method do you want it to implement. So a few important concepts to remember before even starting with Power Platform is that before you even start a flow, the automation process in Microsoft Power Automate is known as flow. And in any flow, there are two major aspects. There's the trigger, and then there is the action. The trigger is something that takes place. Like if someone is talking about your company, that's a trigger if they're using the hashtag. And if you want to be notified about it, then Power Automate would notify you about it, and that would be the action. So you have two concepts: trigger and then actions. So I've set up a few examples that I did for this session, so that you guys can get a general example of how Power Automate works. Then we'll get into a live demo if hopefully if the internet is merciful on me. So over here, this example is just a simple example about when I receive an email, I would get a notification directly through SMS or on my phone that I have received an email. Just in case Gmail does not notify me or Outlook does not notify me. So over here, I've used an automated flow. And then you can, when you select automated flow, you'll have the option to either skip this or to name your flow and select any trigger you want. It can be anything. And again, when a new email arrives, that is our trigger. And then our action would be notification. So when a new email arrives, we would be notified it through our phone. And you would have to, you can customize it the way you want. Like you can make it say, hey, you got an email, or you can say it's up to you. It's totally up to you. And you have to link the email, like what kind of email that you're linking. It can, like if you have multiple emails, be aware that over here there's a U/0, right? So U/0 means that it's your first email. And if it's U/1, then it's like your second email, and 0, 1, 2, 3, it goes on. The number of multiple emails depends upon the link. And then the link label, that is like a dynamic content. We'll get to that later. So over here, I've written hello world, simple email, and I'm sending it to myself. And if the flow went correctly, I would have received a notification that you have received an email. Just like I've shown over here that the text was, you have received an email. And over here, I received the same notification on my phone, you have received an email. And when I open the PowerApps, the Power Automate application, then I would see that I have received an email. The Power Automate application is available on both iOS and Android, so feel free to check that out. And over here, when I open that notification, I would see I've received an email on my Gmail. I sent the email from my Outlook to my Gmail, and I've received that notification. So with that said, this is like the central hub of your automation. Like if you want to know if your automation flow was successful or not, this is where this is where you would have to check it out. If it succeeded, you will be notified here in the run part. And if not, it would tell you that it has failed, and it would tell you where it has failed. Over here are the details, like the details of what kind of automation flow it is, who is the owner. You can have multiple owners you want. So if you're working in a business, you can have 5 to 6 or even 5 to 6 owners, depending upon what your business is, right? or what kind of automation flow you're working on. And then there are the connections and the owners. And this is another example, which was, this is something I can't demo, but we'll get to towards the demo part a bit later on. But this is something which I did. It was an experiment, which was like I placed my data, like any regular images, on my PC, like in a new folder, and Microsoft Power Automate detected that. If you can see the status, it has been, if you can see that the tick sign, and it has been approved, and then you can see over here that same data came on my OneDrive. So this is another beauty about Power Automate. You do not need to do anything manually. Everything is totally automated. I never needed to even place anything when it came to a Microsoft Power Automate. So time for a live demo. Again, as a disclaimer, as Microsoft Power Automate totally depends upon the internet connection. So, the performance of the flow may vary, right? So if you have really good internet connection, then your demo may work, right? May work smoothly. If not, then it's going to take some time. So let me just share my browser. All right, so can you see my browser?
Yes, we can.
All right, so this is the central hub of Power Automate, like I showed you, but it's a bit changed. The last time that I visited, I took that screenshot was like 2020, and now it's changed a bit. So now you're seeing a new style towards Power Automate. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, let's say for example, you're filling a form for for any community, and you want to know if you're the owner of the community wants to know who applied, right? So we're going to do that. So we're going to start with automated flow. Please do let me know if you're a bit behind or if anything is not working. So please do let me know, Alicia. So we can name it anything. We can name it community, and let's skip this. So I'm going to select a trigger. The first trigger that I would need is a form, right? So form. All right. So yeah, so we got form over here. But the first thing we need to do is actually create a form, right? So I have this form open in front of me. Let's just make it anything, community ABC. Let's just skip this and text name, email, and let's add interest. Let's just add that. So we have this form, and I believe it will be able to identify that Microsoft form. So let's just see. So it's going to see what kind of form we have. So all right, I have to restart this because it's not identifying the form at the moment. So let's just do that one more time. Okay, so Microsoft Forms, and our form name was community ABC, right? So it's going to search for the form community ABC, right? Yeah, community ABC. I selected that. Now let's select the action. So we need to know, we need to collect the data first, right? So let's select forms again. And it's going to search for that. Again, the performance of the flow depends upon the internet connection. So over here, yeah, get response details. So when a new response is submitted, it will collect the response details. So the form ID that we have is community ABC, and response ID is over here. It's going to collect the response ID, and let's just say it's going to send me an email or anyone an email. let's just say that when you have submitted a response, so it will the person who applied for the community uh, will get that update that your form has been approved. So let's just wait for that, get an email notification, and once I select over here, let's just say two. And this is where dynamic content comes into play. So dynamic content is basically the content that you have selected from based on the data that you have provided, right? So over here, you can see that I placed in the form I placed name, email, and interest. So similarly over here, you can see the dynamic content, name, email, and interest. So over here, I'm going to select email because it has got to send that email to the person that we are who is applying for the community. And then let's say you have been selected. You have been selected, and let's just say now this is the really cool part. The cool part about over here is that you do not need to type the entire stuff, or you do not have to identify the name. It's just it totally depends upon Power Automate and the type of dynamic content you have. So let's say hello, and let's say name, right? So name of the person who is applying, your interests are, and you place interest, and we will get coffee. So once with that, we're going to save this flow, and once it's saved, the flow is ready to go. Now we are going to test that flow. So for this, we are going to manually test it because automatically it would take a bit time. So let me just get into preview. Okay, so let me just enter any name, Usman. I'll enter my Gmail over here. And okay, don't want to mess this up. All right, and then let's just say for that, and I'm going to submit this. Your response was submitted. Now let's check our form over here. All right, so let's check our email, and here you can see you have been selected. Microsoft Power, this is the sender, and hello Usman. See, I did not type in the name, right? It selected the name based on the form, and then it told me your interests are football. We will get back to you. And it's up to you if you want to unsubscribe from this email or not. So this is the beauty of Power Automate. Like you can do anything you want with the simple push of a button or a few flows, right? So let me just get back to my slides. All right. So what if your flow failed? What happens if your flow doesn't work, right? You entered something wrong, or the dynamic content that you placed did not work. So what Microsoft will do is that if you have signed in with Microsoft Power Automate, then Microsoft Power Automate will inform you that your form has failed, your flow has failed, and it will tell you how many times it has failed. So you can see over here, I did this random experiment and I just placed an incorrect content. So it told me that my experiment one Microsoft Flow failed twice, and I need to check it out. So now now that you've gotten the idea of how Microsoft Power Automate actually works, you might be wondering, is this everything? Like is this something like on the front end? This is what it looks like on the front end. Like we believe that this is what it looks like on the front end, but in reality, it's actually this. Behind all of that, if you select peak, and if you check your flow, then you will see that there are so many lines of code that are working on the back end. So the beauty of Microsoft Power Automate is that you only have to select a few buttons or a few connectors, and everything the Microsoft Power Automate platform will do everything on its own. So that's the beauty about Power Automate. So fun facts about Power Automate: you do not need any Python or any C++ or any sort of coding language to to even automate your tasks. You do not need to be some tech expert. Even if you are a tech expert, then it's totally up to you. It's really cool. It's a really cool platform, and you can do it with a single push of a button. I just literally showed you how it works. So that's the beauty about Microsoft Power Automate. But it's not just limited to forms, right? You can like analyze Twitter feeds. You can analyze Facebook posts, and you can get and you can make Microsoft Power Automate uh, to automatically reply to the person who is tweeting about you or anything like that. So the possibilities are limitless in regards to this. So where it is used. So I've seen a lot of companies, use Microsoft Power Automate. A big example of this is that I had this project with a company in Dubai, and they had this Microsoft Flow, and they wanted to automate a certain tools, certain flows, so that their operations could be easier and they could track what their application is using, what kind of data is being transmitted, and they wanted to automate that. So this is where Microsoft Power Automate really comes in handy. Companies that are focusing on business intelligence, IoT, they also use this. And if you're a startup, if you do not have like a lot of people working with you, and if you don't have proper HR, then this is where Microsoft Power Automate really comes into place. You can, you do not need to hire 100 people. You can just work with 2 people and automate that process, which was required where 10 people would be required. So you can learn all about Microsoft Power Automate through Microsoft Learn. It's a free platform where you can learn about anything from Power Automate to Microsoft Azure or Power Apps. I do recommend Power Apps, since Power Apps is the really cool part about Power Platform. And you can and once you like learn about these technologies, you can even get certified and receive recognition for the skills that you're acquiring. And you can get cool badges and trophies that you can share with your employers, anything like that, if you want to do that. And then there are the Microsoft certifications. Like if you are looking to expand yourself as a technical expert, or just an expert on a certain point of certain aspect of technology, then Microsoft certifications are this great place to excel yourself. So with that said, thank you so much, AUMLSA and the rest of the team. And if there are any questions or any queries regarding Power Automate, you can ask me. Or like if you have anything to talk about regarding Power Platform, you can just connect with me on my social media handles. I think Alicia will provide you on that. So with that said, thank you so much. And if there are any questions, please do let me know.
So if anyone has any question, they can write it in the chat or raise hand. Usman, Samir has a question that will this work if we make a form on Google Forms or rather than MS Form, Microsoft Forms?
Well, Microsoft Forms, Microsoft is really depend on Microsoft Forms, but I think I would have to see that, because they are slowly bringing about connections, right? They are slowly increasing the connectors, right? Last time there was no Gmail. Now there is Gmail compatibility. So slowly they are bringing